Today, as we were reporting there, it said that there would be load shedding again from 5 o'clock until 5 a.m. tomorrow. It has also warned there could be further load shedding. Let's talk about the situation with Professor Sampson Mamphweli, co-director of African Research University's Alliance at the Centre of Excellence in Energy. Thank you for being with us, Professor. From the way Eskom is talking about load shedding, do you think it could be a pretty chilly and dark Easter for many in South Africa?
Good evening. Yes, I've been looking at the numbers that Eskom put out to the public. The situation is quite dire. I think, and I've looked comparing to the previous year during winter. So Eskom themselves, they have done some predictions in the past to look at what the future holds for this particular year. And in that prediction, they indicated that there will be about 61 days of load shedding during winter and about 5 days of stage 2 load shedding during winter and about 5 days of stage 1 load shedding during winter. And that's because the system is quite constrained, like the CEO was saying. But the biggest contributing factor is the fact that the Eskom power stations, especially the coal-fired power stations, are no longer as reliable. Because if you look at the statement that they issued today, we're looking at about 14,000 megawatts, close to 15,000 megawatts. That's out due to unplanned maintenance or breakdowns. So that's a big worry for me. And because of that, the system becomes very much unreliable. And when we move towards winter, we're expecting that there will be quite a lot of electricity usage by big consumers. In Gauteng, for instance, where there's quite a lot of industries, where they consume quite a lot of electricity. So the system will continue to be constrained, and I'm expecting that, as opposed to what the CEO was saying, I'm expecting that we will have the worst load shedding this particular winter. Things will improve next winter if the initiatives that government has put in place start to come on board.
Yeah, I mean, things seem bad enough as it was. You're saying we could see the worst winter, 61 days, I think you mentioned, which is incredible. I mean, that's 2 months. So that means load shedding for the majority of the 3-month winter. Is that correct?
That is very much correct. And that is from the predictions that Eskom has done. And we're also looking at the energy availability factor for the Eskom fleet, especially the coal-fired fleet. And that energy availability factor is sitting at around 63%, as opposed to above 70%. So that's also another burning issue that results in load shedding. And the system gets very much constrained to an extent that Eskom needs to also take away some of the power to use it to replenish some of the pump storage dams. That's about 3,000 megawatts. And they still need to do regular maintenance or planned maintenance to avoid the worst case scenario. Because if they don't remove about 5,000 megawatts at a time, to do regular maintenance, we could see the worst. The system could collapse. So they are doing, when I look at everything, they are doing everything in their powers to try and keep the system available, but they can't do more than anything apart from moving to load shedding. And I've been looking at the numbers. They need to avoid the usage of diesel, which is becoming more expensive. We're looking at billions and billions of rands. If they use more than 1.5 billion rands of diesel, it becomes very unsustainable in that particular sense.
Sure. I mean, what you're laying out is just devastating for businesses, for anybody with a baby, anybody in hospital, heading into winter where we're looking at the majority of days affected by load shedding. Last night, this Unit 5 at Medupi power station tripping. Medupi and Kusile, of course, have been in the news for the wrong reasons for years. There were cost overruns. There were reports that the parts from different suppliers around the globe just didn't fit. So a complete lack of planning, but there was a decision to go ahead with these big projects. But it seems like Eskom just can't get a handle on Medupi and find a way to keep it stable. Do you agree?
Yes, the challenge with Medupi and Kusile, as we know, there have been allegations of issues around corruption, which the National Energy Regulator has also flagged in one of the Eskom applications for tariff hike increases. And that came with a lot of challenges in terms of the implementation of the project itself. We had a situation where there were design flaws that were not picked up or that were not properly attended to. We had cost escalations going up to 3 times the original cost of building the 2 power stations. And we had quite a lot of other issues, and most of them can basically be traced back to the years of state capture, to the aspects around corruption that took place during the construction of those power stations. However, government couldn't, let them go because they had already spent a lot of money on them. They were just about to be completed, and when they were completed, some of the issues that were not properly addressed are coming back now to haunt the country. And we don't really know what is the future of Medupi and Kusile. I think even though it was the right decision to take at that particular point in time, I think going forward, we need to look at the situation where those power stations are basically decommissioned.
Sure, how sad and what a waste. Finally, Professor, I think we want to know that at the very least Eskom is doing the best it can do. You suggested that earlier, that it can't do much more than it's doing. Do you trust the management there? And is government doing the best it can do? Because Eskom is even trying to help out with independent power producers, saying use our land in Mpumalanga. It's been slow. Can we do more to get more power being fed into the grid from solar, wind, from wherever we can find it?
Yeah, I need to commend Eskom, the current management. They are dealing with a complex problem and they are managing it quite well as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, load shedding needs to be part of that management of that problem. I also need to commend the current administration in terms of the initiatives that government has come up with, the unbundling of Eskom, the bid window 5, bid window 6, emergency procurement of power, the allowing people to generate up to 100 megawatts without generation license, the planned grid capacity and things like that. And if you look at most of the challenges around the generation capacity, the new generation capacity that's supposed to come from renewable energy, it's got to do with the availability of the grid. Or the capacity of the grid. That's why Eskom is moving a step ahead and saying to independent power producers, come to our old power stations and where we've got grid capacity, where you can then develop your projects. So I've got confidence in government. I've got confidence in the current Eskom management. I just hope that all these initiatives can be followed through and we can still start to see some of this power coming on board. If everything that government has put in place comes on board just before or after this winter, things can change and we may not have as much load shedding going forward.
All right, so at least the wheels are turning, but Professor Sampson Mamphweli saying brace yourself for winter, lots of load shedding in store, co-director of the African Research Universities Alliance at the Centre of Excellence in Energy. Thank you very much. We take a short break. Stay with us on The Full View.